Good evening. My name is Ellen Truskowski, and I am the Director of Student Assignment for Pinellas County Schools. And thank you so much for giving us some time this afternoon or evening to be able to go over one of our other school choice options. So as a district of choice, we offer parents a variety of different options on what they might want to choose for the best choice for their child. And that starts with their zone schools. So everyone would be assigned a zone school. Tonight we'll go a little bit into how that works. You have choices like our magnet and fundamental programs, which the application will end tomorrow at 5 p.m. We have early education for VPK and pre-K3. We've got educational alternatives. We've got non-zone choices, which are kind of where our special assignment requests come in, as well as our special attendance permits. You can see we have services, we have centers, we have different different types of service deliveries in our schools, and then we also offer Pinellas Virtual. So there's a wide variety of options to find what is the right fit for your child. So I'm going to start with the first place because everyone is assigned a neighborhood school. So if you were first coming in and you're registering, and you ask us to make a reservation, it is going to be for your neighborhood school. So the district is divided into different grids, and those grids are used to create school zones. Every single address in the county is associated with a grid number, which determines the school zone. We do have on our website, we do have something called a zone school locator, which if you go to www.pcsb.org/zone, it'll bring up to what you see in the lower left of the screen. All you need to do is enter your house number and street name and hit search. And what you see on the right is what will come up. It's going to give you your address. It'll give you what school is your zoned elementary, your zone middle, and your zone high school. And new this year, we were able to build in or have built in what application programs that you're eligible for. So some of our magnet and fundamental programs have application areas. To save you some time and trouble of figuring out what those are, if you were to click on that blue box, it would tell you what programs that you're allowed to apply for based on your address. On that same page, which was once again www.pcsb.org/zone, you're also going to see that we have school zoning maps. So underneath the Find Your Neighborhood School, which is what we just showed you, you'll see that we have school zoning maps. So what you see on the right is what that would look like. You can zoom in, you can zoom out, and you're able to see what the zone school based on those addresses are. So as you can see here, some of those schools are closer to areas than others. They're not always in the center for where the school is located. And that's one of the reasons why some parents want to look at alternative schools. If there's a school that's closer, they may want to take the time and apply for a special assignment request, which would allow them to go to a school that is not their zoned. In some cases, it might be that someone works closer to a school than where they live. So there's a wide variety of different reasons why you might want to look for a different choice. As far as our procedures and policy goes, we place all kindergarten, grade 6, and grade 9 are assigned to their zone school. Other grade levels are assigned based on space availability. So if we have students who are new to the district or students with an address change, and at that time of the year, if there is not room, we might look for what school is closest and what school can we help with transportation. And that's only if the school does not have space availability. I want to kind of go over a little bit of how you should approach it, or my recommendations and tips and tricks on if you're looking for this school, how do you go about choosing what school is best for you? And the first thing is, start with what matters most. Every family is different. Every family has different priorities and different things that are more important to them than others. So really start to think, what is important to you and your family? Is it a magnet program? Is it a career academy? Maybe it's what enrichment opportunities that school offers. It might be the before and after care needs. Or you might be looking for a school with strong involvement, looking for academic rigor, or what has transportation available and convenience. So there's a lot of different reasons and a lot of different things of what is important to you and your family. So start to decide what is it that matters most for you and your child. And that's going to help as you start to look for schools. On our website, and when we get to that portion where I'll take you through a live test site or run on how to get to the special assignment request, you can learn about our schools. So if you go to www.pcsb.org/schools, it'll come up with a list. You'll see tabs at the top, which will have elementary, our K-8s, our middle, high, and other options available. With that, if you click on any of the schools that are listed below, it'll take you to that school website. So you can start to learn about your zone school here, as well as what schools might be nearby or what schools might be near where you work. This would be the first step, and the website is going to have information about the staff, the hours. It'll have information about their bell schedule. If they have different programs or clubs, you should be able to find out more there. Our AAR department also has a great resources if you want to dig deeper and go a little bit more into learning about the school. So if you were to go to pcsb.org/accountability, you're going to see that there are school grade tabs where you can look at the different grades and reports for each school. There's graduation rate reports. There's links to state accounts. So this is where you can start to go and see a little bit more about how is that school performing academically, or what is the graduation rate from that school. So we do provide those resources on our own website to start to get you a little bit more on learning more in depth on how is that school performing and to learn more. We're very proud that our district is an A district, and we have about 89% of our schools A's and B's, and we don't have any schools lower than a C. So we have a lot of great options and schools available for you and your family. The next thing I would recommend, visit your zone school. Every school will offer tours, so you can reach out and you can tour the school. You can meet the principal. You get to experience the climate and culture firsthand if you go during the school day. And you can see what amazing things are happening within our walls. I do want to make you aware, if you are an incoming kindergarten, we have coming up real soon between February 3rd and the 5th, something called Ready, Set, Kindergarten. So if you go to our website and you look up early education, you're going to see the list here that's going to tell you every single elementary school that has kindergarten program and what night their Ready, Set, Kindergarten date is and the starting time. And this is a great opportunity. Every single school will welcome you onto the campus. You get to meet all the kindergarten teachers. You meet the principal. They'll do a little bit about the school. Some will do some interactive activities, but it's a great way to start to feel or get a feel for what they have to offer, and for your child to start to see, like, are they excited? Is this something we want to offer? Is what matters most to you being offered at that school? I also want to talk a little bit about our career and technical education programs, because just like the Monroe schools and just like our magnet and fundamental programs, we have a wide variety of career and technical education electives at our middle schools and high schools, as well as career academies. I do want to point out that not all career academies are magnet and fundamental programs. So what that means is we have some specialized programs that we allow for people to apply that are outside of that school zoned area. And it might be for a specific program, or it might be the fundamental program. So we try to offer that to be able to expose students. But not every career academy is a magnet or fundamental. A lot of career academies are offered at the school for something for their zoned or traditional side of students. So we have some great programs like 3DE or JROTC that are not magnet programs. So when you go to apply for a magnet or fundamental, you may not see that as one of your options because it's a career academy or a program at the school, but designed more for the zone schools, or what we're going to talk about tonight, which would be the special assignment request. And the CTAE website has a lot of different information. So a lot of times people hear about the Academy of Engineering at Eastlake High and not realizing that other schools or programs offer engineering programs. So they've created a really great graphic that kind of shows you what other schools have engineering programs. And they do have some different keys and indicators. Some are different electives, some are full-blown academies, and some have been acknowledged by the Pinellas Education Foundation as academies of distinction. And that would all be on their website. So you could easily go to not just Countryside for their iSTEM program, but Osceola High School also offers different engineering. Lakewood, different schools like that. So their resources on their website will help show you what other schools may have engineering or any of the other career academies. So an SAR, or that special assignment request, is one way to attend. So if a career academy is not one of the magnet or fundamental programs, you could still go and attend and be a part of it. You would just attend or apply for a special assignment request if you don't or you're not zoned for that school. And then explore other options. So if you go to your zone school and you tour and you know what, there's just something that you like better at another school, that's okay. Finding the right fit for your family may look a little bit different and may mean beyond your school zone. And that's where you can look for other options. Every school in our county will give tours. Every school in our county should welcome you with open arms. So you can visit the school websites and learn more. You could visit the campuses when possible. And then you can kind of decide what is it or what choice do you think that's going to be best for your school. And we'll talk about different ways later, and I'll walk you through how you can apply for it if it's not your zone school. So special assignment requests are enrollment options that allow families to attend a non-zoned, non-magnet school. And so that non-magnet or non-fundamental has a separate application. That application period, or the initial one, is going to end tomorrow at 5 p.m. But if there's the special assignment request, that is going to open on Monday. So one thing for people who have been in our district for a while may notice is that we're trying to do this whole process earlier in the school year to better serve our families, to have an answer and you're not waiting longer into the school year. So we're really hoping that by moving this up and moving forward, you can get your answers sooner so you could better prepare and make plans. A special assignment allows you to apply for that non-zoned. I do want to make sure that you're aware that bus transportation is not provided as part of this. So in special assignment requests, sometimes it's just a matter of another traditional program, which is anywhere. All high schools have some similar offerings. So there's not transportation. If you choose to apply for this and accept this choice offer or option, you will be responsible for providing your own transportation and getting your child to and from school safely and on time. We do have priorities. So there's certain things that will give a heavier weight to that application or lottery. The first one is active duty military transfers. So if this is the first time your student is coming into our district due to a military transfer, there is a priority for that. If you are currently in the military and your child has been in our school district for a while, that transfer priority doesn't apply to you, but we do thank you for your service. There's also a priority if you attended the school last year. So if you attended the school and you moved and you would like to continue your education there, we do provide a priority for that. We have an anchor sibling priority, and that basically means that you will have a student already at the school who will be attending next year. We also, and this is partly state mandated, provide priorities or preferential treatment for students who have been legally relocated. So either foster care, or maybe there's a court order change in custody, serious illness, and then we also have a full-time benefits eligible district employee. So how do we know? We keep talking about you can apply and if there's room. So I'm going to briefly go over determining how we determine or how we look at how we decide if a school has capacity. So the first thing that we're looking at is how many students are enrolled for next year. And then we look at the school's functional capacity. And I'll go a little bit into that because there's a lot of different factors that make up functional capacity. Part of it is how much space is in the building. Are there empty classrooms? What types of programs are already there at that school? So we look at a lot of different factors before saying if there's open or available seats. So functional capacity is basically the number of spaces available at a given school based on state and district guidelines, staffing model, class size amendments, and other provisions listed in school board policy. And we have that listed on our website. I'm not going to get into the fine nuances. As you can see, there are quite a few different aspects that we review or look at as we're determining are there seats available. We do have two designations when we're talking about capacity. One is if school's enrollment is over 95% of what the functional capacity is, we designate that as overcrowded. Doesn't mean we're not going to take some in. It does mean that not as many are going to get in. So that might be like there's no room in the school, even if we put a teacher, there's no extra classrooms. We just aren't able to accommodate any additional students at that school. The other one is if there's less than 50 or 95% of functional capacity, we will designate that as having seats available at some grades. We post our functional capacity and how many seats we have available by every school every 12 weeks. So the last time it was posted was November 6th. We're due next week to post again. So next Thursday, we will be posting the most update capacity report. And I basically want to go over a couple things that are important to know, a few things we learned with the DAP or the Magnet Fundamental applications. And then once I go over some things to know, we're going to actually take you to a test site so I can walk you through and you can see what you need to do to apply for it. If you do not have a Focus Parent Portal account, you need to set one up, and it's very easy. I'm actually going to tonight role play or take you through as if I am a brand new and don't have an account. All you need is an email address, and then you go to focus.pcsb.org. We are excited that the new platform, it used to be on the student reservation system. We are no longer using the student reservation system. It's actually in Focus. And because of that, we're able to allow people to apply if they're not enrolled. So you don't have to worry about enrolling, bringing in the registration. You are going to be able to apply even if your child is not currently enrolled at a Pinellas County school. The other exciting thing, and I'm very excited about this next piece, is the new programming is allowing both in-county and out-of-county requests to be submitted and processed. So for those of you who are currently attending on a special attendance permit, that is where you might not live in Pinellas County. We had a separate paper form. You had to fill out the paper form and submit it. We would have to have two different wait lists. This is allowing everyone to go into the same system. So we'll be able to more accurately give you wait list numbers, update, and get those offers out. And I did want to go over a couple of the frequent error messages so that if you get this, you will know what to do. And I do want to point out this message in particular out because we have some parents who will tell us that their child has never attended a Pinellas County school and they don't know why when they go in to apply and they're entering their information, it comes out that there's a student already in the system. One of the reasons is if you are currently with the Family Empowerment Scholarship. About 3 or 4 years ago, the state gave us a list of names and an ID number, and that's it for students that we were at that time told that we had to keep in our Focus system. So we don't have the grade level, we don't have contact information, we don't have address, but we do have a record. So if you are one of those students, or if you are coming back, so you're inactive, like maybe you were here, you moved out of county, you're trying to apply again. If you go directly to the application, you might get this error message that says you cannot access the application for the next school year until next year's registration is validated. What that means is you need to do an inactive student re-enrollment. And I do want to say you're not actually re-enrolling your child. We have a placeholder school called the applicant school. But in those cases that I just explained with the Family Empowerment Scholarship, we may have your child's name and a state ID, but that's it. So this re-enrollment form is going to give us what is the address, what is the grade level. We need the grade level to know what grade you're applying for. So it's going to give some basic information. There's also going to be a checkbox, and we'll show that to you as we go through the live test site, that's going to say, do you only want to apply for Magnet Fundamental or an SAR? If you check that box, it's only going to put you in those two. So maybe you don't want to, you're in a private school and you really want a certain school and you're going to apply, but you only want to apply for that. So there'll be a way, and that will abbreviate the application, and like I said, I'll walk you through that in a couple minutes. But if you get that error message that's at the top of the screen, you just have to look underneath the student name. You would have to click Form Summary, and then you would have to click on the center where it says Available Forms, Inactive Student for Enrollment. Once you do all that, you'll be able to apply. The other big thing that we found is if you go to apply, but you haven't done your back to school forms. So when you first sign in, if you're seeing those nice green buttons that said not yet started for the 2025 beginning of the school year form, it's not going to let you apply. So you just need to complete those forms, or if you did a paper version of that form, you just need to call the data manager at your child's school, and then they can go ahead and activate it in the system so those messages go away. But if you see those green buttons, you're going to have to apply and complete those before it would let you apply for a special assignment request. The other thing, if you're current student, you need to have it linked. So on the left side, basically if you are linked, it means that you see their names. So when you sign into your parent account, and on the left you sign in and your children's names come up on the left, that means you are linked. If you sign in and you have an empty box like on the right, you're not linked. So at this point, I'm going to take us through a test site so I can show you how it works. We're going to assume that I am a brand new parent and I do not have an account. If you do not have an account, or if you're trying to link an existing student, you would look not up at the top, you'd look down for the green boxes. If you can't sign in and don't remember your password, you just have to hit the orange box with Reset Here. But for this sake and person, I don't have an account set, so I am going to go ahead and create a Focus account. When I create a Focus account, it's going to come up. You're going to put in an email address. And then a password. Click I am not a robot and then submit. Once you sign in, you would say whether you want to add a child who's already enrolled, you would like to apply for enrollment for a new child, or that you're finished. You're going to click, if it's new, you're going to click I would apply for enrollment for a new child. And this is the same way that you would go in if you're trying to make a reservation for the next school year as well. So the initial steps are the same for whether you're trying to make just a reservation to the zone school or apply for a school choice option. You're going to put in the student's first name, the date of birth, and you're going to put new student reservation or registration. This is a test site, so it's running a little bit slower than it will in person. Once you get here, wherever you see the red asterisk is what is a required field. So you're going to put down the gender. You're going to also put down the county. And I do want to point this out because this is where our out-of-county residents are able to indicate and apply. So if you are living in Pasco County, you're going to put Pasco County. Whatever county you live in, you're going to use this as a drop-down to select that county. I'm going to show, for the sake of purposes, the abbreviated version, which means I'm just going to click the special assignment request application only. This is going to give an abbreviated version, which is only going to give enough information to make that application. If I decided at a later time that I wanted to make a reservation for the zone school, I would just need to contact student assignment. You're going to enter what school year you're applying for. If we're talking about the special assignment application window that's opening next week, it is for the next school year, so starting in August of 26. And you're also going to put down what grade level you're applying for. We're then asked questions on special education or exceptional student educational services. So depending on your answer for these, you may get a drop down and follow-up questions. So if you're saying that yes, your child does have an individual educational plan, they're just going to ask a couple questions. And it is the same with the gifted question below. And then they're going to ask for the language. You would click next page. And then you would slowly type the address. If you did an out-of-county address and are trying to come, it is going to be 100, whatever your county name is. So if you chose Pasco, it's going to be 100 Pasco Street. And then you'll see what a pop-up address will happen. The county is also going to be the city. The county is also going to have like an automatic zip code of 9999. Don't worry, we know that that's not your real address. You would just enter in a mailing address that would be your actual residence. But in order for an out-of-county application to come in, you're going to have to put it down as 100 in whatever county that you live in. I'm just going to use the admin building. And it should self-populate. But sometimes with the test, I'm just going to go ahead and fill it in for sake of time. The unchecked box here is where you would add in your address if you're an out-of-county resident. So the address did populate. So the suggestion will come up. You can click it there. It'll then ask about the contact. Your information will populate. You'll put your address in. You'll put a phone number in. And then you can choose what contact type. Save. If you wish to, and it's optional for this first part, you can always add someone on. You can add a second contact on. It is totally up to you. If you don't fill in a mandatory field, you'll get the same message that I just did. And then it's going to click to sign. You'll just sign your name, sign the date, submit, and finish. You will get a confirmation email that then lets you know that you did submit for enrollment. When this stops spinning, you're going to get an option that comes up that's going to ask you to go back to the portal. When you go back to the portal, it's then going to be this, take me to the focus portal. You can add as many students as you want there. I'm just gonna not waste your time tonight and just, you got the basic idea of how. We're gonna take you to the main portal. And you can now see that student that you just added. To apply for a special assignment request, you're just gonna come down and you're gonna see the 2627. And this is the step where if you got those error messages, those are gonna come up. However, I just filled out the form, so my application should pop up. So this will have the information I just entered. If it's incorrect, if you are a current student, you would just contact your current school. If you are an active student or you are new to the county, just reach out to the student assignment office and we'll be able to assist with getting that information. So underneath that demographic information, you're gonna see where we have some of the priority requests. So this is where if you are entering PCS or Pinellas County Schools for the first time due to military transfer, you would put down yes. It gives you an option below which will show you, or you could just email your transfer orders so that when we go through the review period, we can make sure that we verify that military claim for you. It's going to ask if you're a full PCS employee. If you are, it's going to ask for your work email. And then this is also where those state the mandatory, like is it foster care? Is it a legal reason why your child is being asked to move? It'll then ask you to choose the program. So once you get there, you're just going to choose. So the address that I entered is zoned for Mildred Helms, but maybe I work closer to Brooker Creek, so I want to choose Brooker Creek to apply. I'm just going to put number 1 for the school that I apply for. I do want to give one heads up. If you are a current student or it's looking at next year's enrollment, so if the school you're applying for is your zone school, you don't need to do a special assignment request for your zone school. You may see one of those options are grayed out. It's because we already have you in the system attending that school next year. If you have a sibling, you would enter it here, and you're just entering the sibling name, the date of birth. If you know the student ID, you could put it, and then you click Save. Other than that, you can upload the documents here. So, and that's select. If you're doing it on your cell phone, you can use the camera function. If you're doing it on a laptop or computer, you can easily upload or drag one of the files that you already have on. Then you're just going to hit submit. A pop-up will go and just reminding you that we will grant based on capacity, and then that you would also be providing your own transportation. You would hit OK, and the application's complete. So getting there might be, depending on if you're new or need to do that first form. If you are a current student and you were linked, all you have to do when you sign into your Focus portal, you'll come here and you just have to click next to the name and then click the application. If you get an error message, you're just going to click the form summary. So that's basically how to apply. I'm going to put up the student assignment contact information. So if you have any questions or concerns, you'll know where to reach. And then in just a minute, I'm going to take some of the questions that are coming in. So one of the questions says, am I able to request a special assignment for a school closer to my job? And the answer is yes. So you just need to apply. You can put down a special assignment request for up to one choice. So you can select one school. When the results come out, you will be notified if you're given an offer, or it'll give you a waitlist number, and you'll be able to make a decision at that time. The initial application, because this is a new platform this year, the initial acceptance period is going to you're going to get to do it almost like the Magnet Fundamental, where you go back in and check. After that initial period, it'll be my office will be reaching out, and we'll be posting a timeline and a schedule. We're just trying to make it easier to know when offers will be coming out. So we'll be having posted on this week in this window when the next round is coming. And then we reach out, so we do an email to anyone getting an offer, and then we follow up with a phone call. So at any point after that initial acceptance period, when we do rounds throughout the spring, we do the summer, and then we open it up throughout the school year. So we're always looking at capacity, and if we're able to make that happen, we do. Sorry, I'm trying to get to the questions. If I completed a magnet or fundamental application, but also complete a special assignment request, will the special assignment request void the DAP application, or are they separate processes? So they are very much separate processes. You can have an application in for both. What I do want to caution you is whatever comes in last and you accept last. So you might get magnet or fundamental offer. So let's say you applied for St. Pete High construction and you really just want to be at St. Pete High, so you also applied for a special assignment request. The DAP offer might come out, so you may accept that construction seat, but then still be on or wait to hear about the SAR. If you were then at a later date offered the SAR, if you accept that, that was the latest thing to happen, so that's going to be what sticks. So my office is also very careful. If we see that you did accept a magnet or fundamental seat, we will let you know when we reach out that if you accept the special assignment request, you're forfeiting that seat. And it could be the opposite. Maybe you get a special assignment request first, and then you're offered a seat at a magnet school. If you then accept the seat at the magnet school, you're forfeiting the SAR. So whatever is the last action taken is what will kind of override or supersede any previous. But we try to make that clearer when we're reaching out either by email or phone calls, that if you do accept either the magnet or the SAR, that would be forfeiting the other seat. Okay, so if they've been, so if they are at a non-zone school, so let's say there's a question in there about pre-K 3 and VPK. So maybe you're attending pre-K 3 and VPK at a non-zone school. You won't automatically roll up. If you are a current VPK student, your next year registration will automatically go to your zone school. So if you are, and I'm making this up, if you are attending Lakeview Fundamentals VPK program, pre-K program, you don't necessarily roll up into their fundamental program. Or if that was a zone school, you would go to your zone school. So if you are at a current program, Perkins is another example. other schools that have pre-K and they're not your zone school, you would have to apply for a special assignment request. So there is a question, if our address is out of county, they are automatically waitlisted. Not necessarily. What will happen is we look at the number of seats that are available, and it all depends on how many people apply. So let's say a school had 15 seats available and 8 people apply and 2 of those are out of county. Because there's more seats than the number of people applied, we'd be able to grant all of those. If we only waitlist if we have more applicants than the number of available seats. And at that time, if more people apply, there is a lottery piece, so the lottery is run and it's a randomized function, but there are those weights. So if you remember when I talked about priorities, there's like the military transfers, there are some weighted priorities. I do expect with this new platform, and now that we can have everybody in the same system, I do expect that we'll be able to have some out-of-county offers going out in the first round. So the 26-27 is not going to be there. The application window opens at 9 a.m. on Monday, January 19th. So if you go in right now, you're going to see a current year link. We keep our open enrollment options open all year, but we'll do windows. So while one's open, the other one's down, just try to not confuse people so you're not applying for the wrong year. We will totally have it open and available. You'll be able to see the 26-27 link, 9 a.m. on Monday. And it'll run all the way through 5 p.m. on January 30th. So that's another great question. Do incoming kindergartens have to wait until summer? So we have had multiple discussions over this over the year, and no, we were going to be getting those responses out earlier. Typically, kindergartens tend to be a little bit slower to enroll, and we don't want to give too many seats away where there's not enough for the zone population. But with some of the logistics and looking at some of the historical data, we're pretty comfortable that we should be able to get those out sooner this year. We want to make sure that we're giving you plenty of time to make informed decisions. Sorry, there's another question in there about what time the application period opens. So 9 a.m. this upcoming Monday, the application period will open. That's a good question. If I am awarded an SAR, could it be revoked if they need the seat for a zone student in subsequent years? So our policy is no. Our policy is if you were awarded a special assignment request, you will get to stay there until the highest grade level. Now, I do caution because sometimes if there's a service delivery or there might be a change in what is needed, that service code delivery may cause that we need to look at a different setting. But I think it's happened like one time in 5 years where we haven't been able to accommodate that. So you're there for the full year. Now, if you're excessively tardy, if we're having major behavior issues, there may be some reasons where they look to put you back at the zone school. But if you are granted, you're there to the highest grade level. And so this is going to be new too for our out-of-county residents because they can now apply during the system. SAPs, where it was the special attendance permit, used to be a paper form, and you would apply if you were out of county. You're now going to be able to go in county. The SAP, or if you were out of county, you will need to apply for the next grade level configuration. So we just sent phone calls and emails out today for those families that are impacted. If you have reached 5th grade and you're out of county, you would need to reapply for a special assignment request now, not the special attendance permit, for 6th grade and to continue. So it's that highest grade level. If you're out of county, you would just need to apply for a new school for the next one. So from elementary to middle, and then from middle to high. Which program will help my kid get to Harvard, Yale, Princeton, MIT, or Stanford? I will tell you, every single one of our high schools offers AP classes. Every one of our high schools also offers opportunities for some dual enrollment and college credit classes. We've got very strong programs. We just hit our highest graduation rate. So there are ones that families favor, and sometimes I don't get why, because I've been on almost every school campus and there's great stuff going, but sometimes word of mouth gets out and I don't see it. I go on that campus, and that's why I recommend, if you can tour, go ask the school for a tour, see for yourself. But we do have schools that are more popular than others, but all of them I feel offer some pretty strong offerings and some pretty great options. So the priorities mentioned are given the same weight. There's a question on if the priorities mentioned are given the same weight. So some, due to like some intergovernmental compacts and some state mandates, we do have a weighted system. So the coming into our district for the first time as a military family does have a heavier weight than some of the others. We then have the school that if you were previously attended, you have ones with like the sibling and then the legal. So the legal conditions, there's like those different ones, foster care, court order, those all have the same weight. They are weighted a little bit differently. If I am awarded an SAR, could it be answered that question already. When do we find out if we get the seat? Does incoming kindergarten have to? Okay, so you will not need to wait to the summer. The actual deadline or date for the acceptance period, we don't have posted right now. It's a new platform. As soon as we get the first rounds of the magnet and fundamental programs out with the lottery and see how that works, I'll be able to do. My hope is by the end of February, we should have the first round of SARs out. So just like Magnet Fundamentals ending this Friday, we open up the SARs next Monday. I'm hoping that it's going to be that quick with the acceptance period. Magnet Fundamental acceptance period ends. SAR acceptance period starts the next Monday. We are looking into if there's any way possible we can run the lottery during the Magnet Fundamental acceptance. We're just not going to know that until we get through the first deployment of the acceptance period. But our goal is you should have answers either way by the end of February. So there's a question on for the SAR for the non-zone high school, do you have to apply every year? My daughter will be a junior in the fall. So the answer is no. Once you get an offer, you are there to the highest grade level. So if you got in and got a special assignment request as a freshman, you get to stay to the senior year. Yes, it is a lot, which is one of the reasons there was a comment about it being a lot. It's one of the reasons we try to do the YouTube. We will post this on our website. My office staff are also trained and versed on how to answer. So if you have follow-up questions, if you want to know a little bit more on the intricacies or your question about like some of those options, I encourage you to reach out to Student Assignment. You can email us at studentassignment@pcsb.org. You can call us at 727-588-6210. But we are here to help you. We want to make sure that we're doing everything we can and we're supporting you as you make these important decisions for that. So a great question just came in. Is the SAR lottery or first come, first serve? So the initial application period, which is what's going to open up on Monday, that is a lottery. So during the initial application period, it's a lottery, it's randomized. We will then have subsequent late application periods. So people who are moving in, people who might change their mind, want something different, we'll have late application periods offered, and we'll have those posted hopefully in the next week or two once we see a little bit better timeline and how long it's going to take. So the late application is where the timestamp comes into place. So the original lottery results will be there. If we have more people apply than their seats, we have a is generated. And when you go in to accept, you'll see a tentative wait list number at that time. And that's going to change as people accept or decline the offer. If you're applying in the late application period, that's when it timestamps it. And then if you apply and there's a wait list of 26, when you apply, you'll be 27. If someone comes in after you, they'll be 28. So it's in that late application period, same thing as the magnet and fundamental, that you'll go in time-stamped order at the bottom of any wait list. Initial, lottery. Okay, so there's a question about a late SAR being granted. We just granted a round right before winter break so that they could start at the beginning of semester 2, and we've been calling offers at the end of last week and this week. So we look approximately every 2 weeks, and if there's seats that are there, we reach out. So if you haven't heard from us, it's just because a seat hasn't become available yet. So we're trying, and we look at that every 2 to 3 weeks, we're getting the next round out. So if you haven't heard from us yet, you're on the wait list, and as soon as the seat becomes available and we can accommodate it, we're emailing and phone calling with those offers. Just looking to see if there's any questions I haven't addressed. That looks like, from what I can see, that looks like we've hit all the questions. So we'll try to come up with this and do like a look at for the most frequently asked questions and get that out on our website just to be able to better assist you. There is pcsb.org/SAR. If you hit that, that'll give you some information. We'll have this video there. We're also going to post, kind of like I walked you through it, but we'll have a PDF with step-by-step with the screenshots on it. And like I said, my office is always available. We are located at the administrative building, so 301 4th Street North or Southwest in Largo. You're more than welcome to come in. Our doors are open from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. We will help you. We've got computers in our front lobby. We'll be happy to help you apply, or just give us a call or email, and we will be happy to address any of your questions or concerns. At this time, I can do a late SAR for non-zone school, and no. So that's a good question. Let me rephrase it. If you wanted to apply for a late SAR now, so that would be for the current 25-26 school year, you can. That current year one's going to go down next week for the next couple weeks, just because I don't want people getting confused. We're only going to have the next year application window open next week. You can apply for both. If you get an offer for the current year, you're obviously not going to need the next year one. We would go ahead and decline it at that time. Or if you don't get an offer this year, you'd have that application in, so you would be on the wait list or get an offer for next year. So you can definitely do both, and it's not going to impact either application. So another good question just came in. If we don't get the SAR in the initial lottery, do I need to apply or reapply each late application period? So that answer is no. We do dissolve the wait list at the end of the school year. So the initial application that's happening now, if you didn't get an initial offer, you'll be on a wait list. That'll continue all the way up through like the end of April of the 26-27 school year. So there's no need to apply within each window. There is a need to apply if we get through the school year and you didn't get an offer, you can apply. And just like the question right before, like if I apply for a late now and a next year, will that impact either one? At least that way you have your options open. So you can definitely apply for both, but you do not need to reapply during the late application period, because that'll actually take your higher number. It'll count it as a new application, and you'll go to the bottom of the wait list. So if you're on that wait list, don't reapply unless you contact us and you find out like you're 150 on a wait list and there's another school that has available seats. You could reapply to a different program. So if you choose to try for a different school, you could reapply and change your mind with that option as well. I think I've hit all the questions. If you didn't get your question answered or I missed it, just please reach out. Once again, it's studentassignment@pcsb.org is our email address. Our phone number is 727-588-6210. We're open 8 a.m. to 4:30 Mondays through Fridays. We will be posting some different parent assistant nights, so we try to get to a school in South County, North County, and Mid County just to be there in case people want some help applying or need questions answered. But me and my staff are more than happy to assist and help you find the school that's best for your family. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and I hope you have a great night.